Hello everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and today is Tuesday night, which of course means another episode of The Flash, and The Flash continues to kick up a notch. You know, every episode's better than the other, but obviously last week, let's just point out the obvious, was a very epic, badass episode, and today, I don't know if I would go to those type of terms for this specific one, but nevertheless, I'm here to give you my personal review, my personal opinion, if you will, of Episode 16 of The Flash, which is titled Rogue Time. And if you've not seen tonight's episode, this review may contain spoilers, so please go check out the episode so we can come back and talk shit about what happened tonight. Nevertheless, giving you a brief recap of what happened last time, which was epic and awesome nonetheless, which was the episode titled Out of Time. And if you haven't seen that episode, then you really don't know what the fuck's going on and you should just fuck off or whatever. But nevertheless, in Out of Time, essentially, Central City is being destroyed. The Weather Wizard has a tsunami heading towards it. Joe West is fucking practically going to get killed afterwards. Barry told everybody his secret identity, especially to Iris. They both love each other. Fuck, on the flip side, you have fucking Reverse Flash, Harrison Wells revealing that he's the Reverse Flash to Cisco, and then fucking bursting his fucking hand through his fucking chest. Everything, shit hit the fan. That sequence, both sequences, that's like legit. If wherever there's a dictionary of slang or whatever, when it says in the dictionary shit hit the fan, it should have a fucking pictograph of fucking everything that happened in last week's episode. Nevertheless, that's what happened. Barry's running through time, literally using the Speed Force, and actually goes back a day to before the events of everything that just happened. And now he's going through amnesia or whatever, and he's just trying to go and deal with the things that happened, trying to prevent certain things. He doesn't know what the heck exactly the full logistics of what happened, which is basically him traveling back in time. And obviously, I think the more hysterical thing about this episode is that we don't really get the full conclusion of what exactly happens in the previous timeline. So I'm guessing that that's more of a season finale kind of thing. But nevertheless, it was just kind of good to have like that kind of episode. I mean, it's more or less a big what if kind of episode. Like, what if Barry told Iris and Iris felt the same way? What if fucking Central City was about to be destroyed? What if Barry went back in time? What if, you know, fucking Reverse Flash revealed himself? You know, all that kind of shit. So, yeah, last week's episode is kind of like one giant what if, and this is the current real-time timeline. So, nevertheless, Barry's dealing with all these types of things. He takes down the Weather Wizard right off the bat, using, of course, the knowledge that he knows from the previous timeline to take down Weather Wizard, which was fucking hysterical. And I like the whole moment where Liam, when they put him in that little fucking Star Labs jail, and he's like, when I get out of here, I'm gonna destroy the city, you know, with a tsunami or whatever the fuck. That was kind of hysterical, where it's like, in a previous timeline, you actually did that. But in this timeline, you're fucked. Nevertheless, it was cool to see that and have that kind of moment. And we had that parallel of the same kind of moment with fucking Harrison Wells and Cisco, which was very creepy. I don't want to spoil it. Well, actually, I'm going to spoil it because it's a review. It's a spoiler review, nevertheless, as all my Flash reviews are. But anyways, some point in this episode, the Rogues, of course, it's a Rogue episode, the Rogues have returned to Central City, and they're just trying to do the same old, trying to steal money, kick people's asses, possibly kill other people, just do wrong things. They're basic criminals, which is something that's kind of respectful about the Rogues, because all the other villains in this series always have an agenda, which I always find funny. Like, everybody has an agenda. Like, every single villain that we've seen on The Flash has a pre-existing relationship with another character and is seeking revenge. But with the Rogues, it's like they're just classic villains that just happen to be in a superhero universe, which is really hysterical, where they're not obsessed with taking over the world, they're not obsessed with, you know, trying to take down the Flash. All the Captain Cold and Heatwave and introducing a new addition to the Rogues, Captain Cold's sister, Lisa Snart, who is known as freaking Golden Glider in the comics and whatnot, are essentially just basic villains. They just really are obsessed with kicking people's asses, doing whatever the fuck they want at any specific moment, killing people on occasion, and of course, making lots of money, stealing it, robbing money. That's what they're fucking caring about. And in the process of doing all this, they actually kidnap Cisco, torture his brother in order to get weaponry, because, as we all know in the previous Rogue episode, spoilers, they lost their weaponry, so now Cisco has to remake it. Another code gun, another heat gun, and now a new addition, a gold gun, which is kind of weird. We see it in action in this episode where Lisa uses the weapon alongside with Captain Code at that Vegas-esque casino, Vegas! Kind of casino. And I don't know if I'm big on it. The cold gun is awesome. Okay, sure. It looks a little off at times, but it's cool. Awesome. The heat gun, fucking kick-ass. It's a bona fide flamethrower, so it's not that unrealistic. But that golden gun thing that Cisco designed, God, that was a weird gun. Even the design of the actual gun itself, it looks like a straight-up blaster that deserves to be, on Star Wars or something. Not a big thing, but I don't know, I always felt the gun looked a little off in comparison to the cold gun or the heat gun or what have you. But nevertheless, essentially what the gun does is that it shoots out this golden liquid metal type thing, shoots onto whoever the fuck you're aiming it at, and they basically turn to this golden stone kind of thing. So that's essentially what the golden gun does. And I don't know if it fully works as well as the other guns. For me, visually and practically, I don't think it really works for me. Let me know what you personally think. In the comment section below, what did you think about Golden Glider's gun? Do you think it's awesome? Do you think it's shit? Do you think they still need to work on it? That's how I kind of felt with the cold gun. I liked it, but there was little things off. Then we saw it again, and I was like, okay. And now we see it here. Now they've obviously perfected it. It looks a lot more badass and visually proper for the character. But nevertheless, Golden Glider being in this episode, she didn't really have a huge presence. She's kind of just, I guess the Flash's Harley Quinn to a certain extent, because she's a sidekick, but she's her own character, and she's kind of wacky, but she's a criminal. So I guess that's what in terms you can think about it as. I'm not saying they're exactly alike, but that's kind of a good comparison if you want to know. But other than that, I think the actress who played her was okay. I think she was decent for the role. But at the end of the day, this episode was mostly just a Cisco episode, and B, a Rogue episode, which was not entirely bad, but I don't think it was the best episode they could have done to one-up themselves for Out of Time. Out of Time was epic. It was almost series finale epic type shit. And then, we come back and we're in real time. It's we need to calm down things a little bit. And that's understandable. I understand that. But, I just wasn't really into the fact that after seeing that one, we have to deal with the Rogues again. Because I like Captain Code. He's an awesome Flash villain. And the Rogues are progressing. They're obviously evolving, which is cool. But we've seen Captain Code versus the Flash 3 times already. This is our 3rd time. It's either he needs to pull up all the stops and come up with some kind of wacky, really huge armada, army, fucking Rogues gallery, or he just needs to fuck off, because it's this is your 3rd time fighting the guy, and this is your 3rd time technically losing, so, spoilers. But, let's see other things. I was really hoping to see a new villain. That was what I was really getting at. But nevertheless, I know I keep using that word, but at the end of the day, it was just okay to see the Rogues once again. And I love the actor who plays Snart. He's just fucking awesome. The guy who plays Captain Code is killing it. I just like how over the top he is with how subtle he speaks. There's a whole section where he's talking with the Flash, and he just sounds over the top, but he does it in a way where it's you like it at the same time. It's a really interesting performance. But along with all these other specific plot points, Cisco's obviously having his own kind of deal with his own family, which I thought was really weird. I mean, granted, with the Flash audience, a lot of people love Cisco. I understand that. Cisco, when he died in the last episode, people were like, no! Everybody went pussy Anakin Skywalker episode 3 kind of shit. But at the end of the day, Did we really need a whole episode dedicated to, like, how shitty his family treats him, or, like, how much they praise his brother over him? I didn't really need to see it. It wasn't really that much. And that's coming from the guy who's not really a big Vibe/Cisco fan. Because at the end of the day, I don't really know a lot about Cisco from the comic books, other than the fact that A, I know he's a breakdancer, 2, he's Vibe, and 3, he was a part of that shitty-ass version of the Justice League that was run by fucking Aquaman or whatever. That's kind of the extent of how I know Cisco's history in the comics. But did really need an episode dedicated to him? I don't know. It's an interesting point, but I guess after last week's episode where they were like, fucking hand through the chest, they were like, we gotta give the guy his props, we gotta get him a woman to kiss him, we gotta have all this cool shit where he's like a part of the plot, so it's understandable, but it wasn't really needed, kind of like the Rogues, it wasn't really needed. I would have rather liked to have seen a new villain and just kind of go from there and deal with kind of what we did get in the subplots, which was Barry dealing with the fact that he can time travel and the fact that he's trying to get what he got in the previous timeline, which I'll get to in a sec. And at the end of the day, the Cisco Rogues thing was okay. I just would have liked something else. But on top of all this, Barry, of course, discovers the fact that he can time travel, and he obviously tells Harrison Wells, who wants nothing to know about everything that he did, because, of course, messing with time obviously causes great ripple effects, and he kind of, at the end of the day, at the end of the episode, he kind of projects to Barry that you can time travel. It's possible. But if you do it, you're just going to mess up the lives around you. Which is kind of his way of, like, telling him not to time travel. Even though we know Barry's going to. And there's a specific moment where Harrison Wells basically tells him that if you try to save your mother's death is not the only death that will be caused. There will be multiple other major deaths, which will be a ripple effect, and you trying to save your mother, going back in time again. It would be a bad idea. So that's kind of like what he's kind of projecting to him, and I'm kind of getting sick of this whole Barry like believing in Harrison's bullshit, especially since we know he's obviously the major villain of this series. It's like, fuck what he says. Do what you want to do, or whatever. But then again, I guess it's okay that he doesn't. Because if Barry does save, his mom, then that means there is no Flash. And then again, it's okay if that does happen anyways, because, of course, that means Flashpoint Paradox storyline, which could happen by the end of the season, or by the beginning of Season 2, what have you. So that's going to be awesome. But on top of all this, Barry knows that Iris feels the same. So he tries to project the fact that, okay, we both feel the same, how about we just do it? I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's what he's trying to get at. So Linda and Barry are kind of caputo here, they're done, their relationship's dead. Linda was like, okay, it's the status quo. Linda's like, okay, sure, we care about each other, but we're not really going to evolve as a relationship because you obviously love Iris, which is obvious to every fucking person except for fucking Iris. And they break up, which I'm okay with. Tell me what you personally think in the comment section below. Do you think it's a good idea that Linda and Barry broke up? I personally think it's okay because that, you know what that means? Once Wally West gets in this bitch, shit's going down and they're going to hook up. Hopefully. Unless they make Wally West like a kid, which would be really weird. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens when they eventually put in this character, which I hope they do very soon. At the end of the day, this episode was pretty badass. I liked a lot of things that happened to it. I just would have liked to have seen something more out of the previous timeline we saw. And of course, we didn't really need a Cisco Rogues episode. I'm pretty sure it was more fan service for a lot of people who were like, yeah, the Rogues, yeah, Cisco. But for me, it's understandable. Just would have liked to have seen something more epic in the terms of how we saw last week's episode. But at the end of the day, there are, of course, a rating that I have to give it. I give it a good, I want to say a 7 out of 10. It was a good episode. It wasn't the solid 10 like last week's, which I stated was the best episode out of the entire season, next to the mid-season finale. But overall, that one was the best. This one is okay. It's decent. It's a good episode. It's a good, solid episode, like most Flash episodes. But it's just a 7 for me. But at the end of the day, we do get some major hints to following episodes. Of course, we have the Rogues not being killed or being put in jail. So they're out there. Barry basically is revealed as, you know, the Flash to them. So they know the secret identity. And they kind of come to a terms where, like, okay, don't tell me, I won't put you in jail, just don't tell anybody my secret identity. That's kind of like where they kind of go off, which is really weird, because we all know Flash doesn't kill people. He's not Arrow, so you can't do that. Can't put him in jail, because if they do, Captain Cold will reveal everybody who the Flash really is, prior to the events of him putting him in jail. So that's kind of the other kind of scenario. But that's kind of where they leave off. So, of course, you know what that means. The Rogues will return once again. It's only inevitable until we see them again. It's kind of like the Joker. It's like he's just going to keep getting out of jail until you fucking put a gun to his head. That's, you know, the only way to get rid of him. But on top of all that, Iris's boss, essentially, after the whole events, which really suck for Barry, which, you know, Iris loves Eddie, loves Barry, but in secret, or maybe. I don't know. Speculation, let me know below in the comment section. Personally, I think she does care, but it's something that she needs, like what happened last time, to really let it all out. It's not going to be like how Barry wanted it, where it's like, we're sitting down, we're like, hey, let's just do it. It's not going to happen that way. So, something big's going to happen for them to do what they eventually did last week, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But on top of this, Iris's boss, who obviously has been suspecting Harrison Wells, finds out a lot of things about Harrison Wells. Of course, he wants to put him to trial. He really believes that he killed Simon Stagg, which of course he did. And at the events of all this, the Reverse Flash returns. The man in the yellow suit, he returns, beats the shit out of the fucking guy, steals his information on Harrison Wells, which of course is himself, and then kills his ass. He just straight up kills his ass, which was really fucked up. Which, on top of this, is revealed on the news. Of course, you know, Iris's boss is missing. Wink, wink, he's dead. Barry realizes that maybe Harrison Wells does have a lot to do with why this happened. So now, Barry's not living in the little fog that he was like, oh, we're just buddies. He's like my dad, or whatever. He's like, he's my mentor or whatever. Fuck that noise. He's the Reverse Flash in secret. So Barry's onto him. We don't know the full extent of like where this is gonna go. Of course, it's all gonna end up the same way every, you know, great story is gonna end up. It's gonna be the Flash versus the Reverse Flash once again. But I just can't wait to see like how that develops and where that goes. And of course, where's Eddie gonna end up? Because based off the trailers we've been getting, Eddie's gonna be a straight up cold killer. Why? You know, what's going to happen there? Does it have a lot to do with Iris and Barry? This is kind of like the preludes to great things to come, which I really can't wait to see. This series is just awesome. The Flash is the greatest comic book TV show out there today. Hands down. So I can't wait to see future episodes of Flash. I can't wait to see where Eddie ends up. I wonder, like, how Iris and Barry are officially going to hook up. I wonder when the fuck Wally West is ever going to show up. I want to see the standoff between Barry and Reverse Flash. And I also want to know how Barry comes to the realization that he is the man in the yellow suit. Now that he's, you know, on terms with Joe. That, yeah, Harrison Wells he's hiding things. We need to find out. So that's the great thing about this episode. Everything else was okay, cool, decent, just wasn't as epic as last week. But overall, let me know what you personally thought in the comment section below. Let me know about all these things, all these speculations, your personal thoughts for future episodes. And I cannot wait till next week's episode, because you know what that means? The return of the Trickster. Yes, Mark Hamill. You want to see him in something before the fucking Star Wars premiere? You see him in The Flash, bitches. I can't fucking wait to see that. The Trickster returns. Supposedly there's going to be another Trickster on top of that, so there's going to be 2 Tricksters, but fuck the other Trickster. It's all about Mark Hamill, bitches, the Joker, or the Flash version of the Joker. Let's get this shit done. I want to see that. Mark Hamill returns to the Flash. It's going to be awesome. The Flash just gets better and better. I love this series. Let me know what you personally thought in the comment section below. Check out my previous review on Out of Time. Check out my review on The Offer of Arrow Season 3, Episode 16. I will also be reviewing tomorrow night's episode of Arrow, which I really can't wait for. I wish that was the premiere. Fucking Flash versus the Atom. That looks like some hardcore shit. So I can't wait to see that. I hope it's badass. Like the teasers have been, showing. Also, check out my iZombie pilot review. Ironically enough, iZombie's playing right now. And also, check out my 300 subscriber thank you video. Check out my giveaway video. Check out my Dragon Ball Z Light of Hope pilot review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And this has been John12.